I got a text yesterday from a lady I'm going to talk to her. She's probably listening to this class now. Texted me from somewhere in Oregon or something like that. I was so excited. She is listening to, she's researching, she's looking all the way down for a real class where she can find the real shiur. And she took her like layers and layers and layers of looking around on YouTube till she found us. And she's learning with us Likutei every day. Somewhere in the middle of Oregon. And she just needs to. So welcome to her. I got to get us, and I think we should actually meet. Amazing. That's what the internet does today. Okay, let us learn. Ready? So page 172. We're using a book of, she asked what book we're using. So that's the book called Torah. Torah is written by the Baal Hatanya, the Alter Rebbe, Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi, and he's explaining the parasha in depth, but he's actually working on giving us a deep understanding of life. It's not parasha, it's parasha based. Okay. So Moshe gathered all the people and he said, these are the things Hashem said to say. And he says, what does Hashem tell you to do? He tells you to keep Shabbos. You're going to work for 6 days, and the 7th day you can keep Shabbat. Now, that's interesting. Why is he telling us to keep Shabbos? That's the message. Keep Shabbos. Well, the message is the Mishkas. But the first thing he says is Shabbos. So the simple answer is that he was telling us that when you build the Mishkan, don't forget to keep Shabbos. And in fact, you didn't know how to keep Shabbos until you got to this story over here, because the whole body of halacha, how to keep Shabbat, where did it come from? Right here. Whatever you can't do in the Mishkan, which is 39 categories of work, you shouldn't do on Shabbos. That's how you learn Shabbos.
Kodesh means just holy, and is another.
Kodesh means holiness. Different conversation here. But David Meir Mazal said, "Lama nischa Shabbos melech Mishkan." So the rabbis ask, why are Shabbos and the Mishkan placed together? What's the reason? And also, Gam Tzorach, we need to understand. Why is it that Petzibri HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Moshe ben Al-Lashon, Parshas Truma Tetzaveh, I mean, this parsha is actually a repeat of Parshas Truma Tetzaveh. So the Torah has Truma Tetzaveh, then we break for Kisisa, the golden calf, and then there's Vayakal Pekudah, which is repeat. Why is it repeated? Because Truma Tetzaveh is build this, and let's build the Mishkan, build the make the clothing for Aaron HaKohen, and Vayakal Pekudah is, and they did it, and they did it, and they did it, and they did it, and they did it. Literally a repeat. Do this, did it. Do this, did it. Why? But the question he's asking is the order of how it works. The way it's worded in those two parshias over there is, first he says, build the vessels of the Mishkan. So build the Aron, the Ark, then build the Shulchan, the table, the holy table, and then the Menorah, the lamp. After it says the vessels, then it says Melech Mishkan, build the actual body of the Mishkan, Atzmoy. What's that? Hina Yeriyos, Shel Mishkan, those are the curtains of the Mishkan. Page Pezayin. Ne'emar b'parshas Kisiso, Aches Shab Soisai Tishmoiru. So first it says, build the vessels of the Mishkan, the actual ornaments that go in the Mishkan, right? The vessels. Then it says, build the body of the Mishkan, which is the curtain, the walls.
Structure.
Hmm?
The structure.
The structure, thank you. And then it says, keep Shabbos. Shabbos is actually in Parshas Kisisa. It is, right? Yeah. Harei. So the order is, Hikdima Kelim. First he has the vessels, then the curtains, and then Shmirat Shabbat, keep Shabbat. Tivui Moshe ben Alav Shalom Yisrael, in the parsha of the Vayakal Moshe, Hafach HaSeder Shama, and Tchila Shmir Shabbos, V'achagach Melech HaMishkan, V'achagach HaKelim. He did the exact opposite order. What he called ABC, he does CBA. First, keep Shabbos. That's the beginning of the parsha. Then he says, build the structure of the Mishkan, and then build the vessels. In every parsha. This week's parsha is by Likutei, double hitter, right? What does it say in this week's parsha? This is what it says.
And beforehand, it was
when Hashem said to do it, Hashem says first build the vessels, then build the structure, then keep Shabbos. When Moshe does it, he says keep Shabbos. He tells the people keep Shabbos. Then they built the
Structure.
Structure. Then they built the vessels. The exact opposite order. Why? The explanation is the Nexiba, so we mikdash v'shachanti b'soicham. These words are generally a passport. You know what a passport is? When you want to get into another country, you have to have a passport. So, Val Rebbe always, it's like in the Hemsheichim of Rebbe Rashab, he always called it a passport. Meaning, I'm going to talk about Parsha. That's the passport, because I want to talk about something deeper. So I'm going to get the conversation going by talking about the following idea.
How do you say passport?
He called it a passport in the sense that, it's not quite the same as the name. He's got him shaken. So he wants to say, he's got like 64 points to say, over 64 Mamorim. And the way he words it is, he looks at what's the parish of the week, talks about that, and continues the conversation. So, in other words, the parish is really just the passport to talk about what he wants to talk about.
Yeah.
It's more applicable in the Hemshech than but still. It says, and this is the whole foundation of everything else Hashem says in Likutei. Because in Parshas Truma, when Hashem says to make a Mishkan, he says, build me you make for me a Mishkan, and I will dwell among them. What he meant to say was, it's a little bit of a typo. Betocho lo nema. See, it wasn't a typo. He didn't say I'll dwell in it. Ela betocham. Dainu betoch klalut neshamot Yisrael yishkon kvod Hashem. The glory of Hashem will be revealed inside the neshamas of Yisrael. Yisbarach. Al yedei Mishkan. Through the Mishkan. Ve'achshav gamkein hu al yedei eskam b'Torah v'mitzvos. Now too, it's going to be through delving into Torah mitzvahs. So, these three things we spoke about, it's not a question just about how they built the Mishkan 3,000 years ago, whatever it was. And it's more a question of how you are going to build the Mishkan. So the vessels of the Mishkan, you're building it inside you, right? The vessel of the Mishkan, what is that? That's the Torah. Why is that? Because it's internal. When you learn Torah, you understand, you actually know what Hashem wants. So it's internal. It's called memale. Right? The kelim are memale. What's memale? They fill you up. When you learn Torah, you're filled up. Now, mitzvahs, what is a mitzvah? Mitzvah does not fill you up. When you put on tefillin, nothing changes in you, per se. Right? You put on tefillin, if I learn about tefillin, now I understand something. I actually changed.
A lot of people look at, I don't know if it's the right thing, right? But look at Torah as like a mitzvah, doing a good deed for someone, this or that, and you feel good internally. But I know that's not the real reason I'm doing it.
But not all mitzvahs are, first of all, so if you help an old lady across the street, maybe that feels good internally. But if you put on tefillin, what does that feel good? Put on tzitzis, right? You're talking about moral things.
Yeah.
We're talking about the way Hashem wants to do it. Hashem wants it done. So Torah is the vessels. Mitzvahs are the aura, right? Mitzvahs place you in a certain aura. So they do. They don't. You don't internalize them. You don't understand what the mitzvahs. You don't change. It's an effect. In Tanya chapter 4, he describes 4 and 5. He describes how Torah is food because you actually eat it. You become something different. Mitzvahs are garments. You put them on. It says, the Pasuk says, your righteousness will walk in front of you, and the glory of Hashem will bring you in. That's what it refers to the tzidkecha. When you give tzedakah, you do mitzvahs, they change doesn't change you internally, it just puts you in a different space.
I have a question. I'm sorry. Doesn't it say about putting on tefillin, it changes the karkafta? And I'm sure there's other things also that it changes. So first,
that's a spiritual transformation. You can't say the person understands anything different when he did the mitzvah, right? If you want to internalize that, you have to learn why that works. When the guy walks away, put on tefillin, he just put on tefillin. He is now no longer a karkafta, no longer a person and put on film, but he doesn't change internally. You change internally when you change internally, when you actually understand and learn. Right? They are like the curtains which encompass you. Torah is internal, and mitzvahs are clothing. So those are the two things over here. Now he's going to describe them. I want to just zoom out a second, and it's a fascinating. Just like look at the overall, but he's making over here. He's saying that a Jew is a mikdash to Hashem. That's what he's saying, right? A Jew is a holy temple. You are the holy temple, and what you want to do is build the temple, build the tabernacle, build the mishkan. So you want to build it inside you and become that. Right? How do you build the mishkan? So when you perform mitzvahs, you're building the overarching experience, and when you're learning Torah, you're actually changing internally.
But which is the tough one? Which is the ikar?
What?
The structure. How do you relate the structure of the mishkan to the body when the body is secondary to the neshama? The ultimate goal is not the body or the structure. The ultimate goal.
But what he's saying is you're creating atmosphere, creating an aura. The mitzvahs are like, think about it like this in a certain sense, right? The mitzvahs create structure for you. Even in your day, they create structure. You know that in the morning you go to daven and put on tefillin and talis, and then there's different things you got to do during the day. It like creates a certain home for you, right?
But you're using the word structure differently. It's a discipline. That's a structure in time, not in place.
Yeah.
Not in place.
Time and place. Place also. Why?
No. I just
where you go.
Not necessarily, but I'm saying, but when you say it's not a physical, the goof has to be secondary to the structure.
I'm saying it also structures the human being as a different kind of personality, don't you think? It structures you as a personal, a different thing. Mashenkin Torah doesn't do that. Torah is internalized by you. When you learn Torah, you change internally.
So again, what?
Kodesh. I'm just saying, this last week, it's a fascinating thing going on in the world. This guy, right? This goy, who clearly, you're right. Has the whole word that he said that that Chabad is running the war in Iran and conquering the world, etc. So what's fascinating is, essentially, in order to respond, you have to take the most edele refined ideas, edele oisius, right? Edele, like refined concepts, and you have to communicate it, to a person who has no clue, right? In other words, when you learn Chassidus, right? So what does it mean? That there's a war to be won. What's the war to be won? War is against the forces of evil, right? So who are the forces of evil? The Yetzer Hara and the force out there of negativity. And you want to change it. How do you change it? The Rebbe spoke about a war. The Rebbe made it into a full-fledged war. He made it into the tanks and weapons you have to have, right? Weapons on neshek. Remember the neshek? Neshek means weapons, right? Neshek is the Nerot Shabbat Kodesh. Shabbos candles, right? It's neshek, and the tank is Aaron Azikin Kinyan. Right? If you're pure and you don't allow any nezek into your own self, and you're honest about the other guy, then you can't ever, And then he said that if you put on tefillin, the nations of the world are going to fear you. Right? And then there's the whole idea, the whole notion of conquering the world. What does it mean to conquer? It means the other guy actually becomes good. That the world becomes a good place. So everything is used in war imagery. So the first point is war imagery, right? It's very able. Second point is, what's the goal? The goal is dira b'tachtonim, that the world actually becomes a home to Hashem in this world, right? So now if you look at that, to the guy out there who's looking, he's reading, he's like, wow, you guys are warmongers. And I go explain, what does it mean? This word. Hashem says, make for me a mikdash, I'm going to dwell among you. And then you explain that, guess what? The Jewish people are the strongest people on planet Earth. We are. Right? And then the goy says, what do you mean? So you're strong, so you're trying to conquer the world, so you're trying to whatever. No. And you read the reason, the strength of the Jew is his conviction. He's got a real mission. He's got a real, and you start hating us. I mean, because you're not strongest, your army is not the strength. The strength is the conviction of why you're here. And if you don't need an army, that's when you're as strong as you can be. Jewish people never had an army. We don't survive because of our army. Army is great, but that's not why you survive. You survive because of your conviction and your sense of purpose and vision, right? And all that. Go explain that to a goy who's sitting over there saying that, oh, the Jewish people want to conquer the world and Chabad's running the war. And go explain it's true. You don't understand. But we are running the war because Hashem cares about us and wants to do this and this and anyway, that's this Nakuda. It's just a question of how do you do it? So you're saying you're doing a war, but you're not really doing a war. You're trying to, like, it's a spiritual war. So you want them to make it instead of the mosque or not? Yeah, we do. Anyway, that's our task at hand to explain. Okay. So we're going back into this. To understand what this is. So we're going to learn how to build the Beis HaMikdash by us. In their times they built the kalim, the vessels. Then they built. Hashem said vessels, then structure, then Shabbos. And then when Moshe did it, told the Bnei Yisrael, he says Shabbos, then the structure, then the vessels. And what that means to us is structure is mitzvahs, vessels is the Torah, and it's how you build this mishkan in your own self. It's the process of how you should build. Having said, understand it's preface what it says. Me Hashem leishanisi, I Hashem, I don't change. Means there's no change by Hashem whatsoever through the creation of the world. Just like God was alone and on his and unique before creation, so he is after creation. That's an important point to understand. There's nothing besides Hashem. Even you are there before creation, you're there after creation, there's only God. Right? So the first point is, do not be fazed by anything that goes on in the world. The world is a figment, if you will, of Hashem's imagination. It isn't a real place. Why? The life force that creates the world is just a ray of light of the essence of Hashem. So this is always the question, right? Is God the creator? Absolutely not. Is the creator Hashem? Yes. We learned this in a Maimer where the Alter Rebbe says it based on the pasuk. Ki ibcha v'kor chaim. It doesn't say ki atom v'kor chaim. You don't say Hashem, you are the source of life. You say with you is the source of life. What does it mean with you?
Yeah, but also somewhere else.
You're a creator.
Yeah, but you basically say you're not limiting him to be a creator.
Correct.
Right.
And you're saying that the world is not very important. Just an afterthought. That's what the world is.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But he created that imaginary picture out there.
Creator what?
He is the creator. He's not limited to being the creator. But in between rounds of golf, he created the world.
All I'm saying is that when you live in this world, and if you didn't know this, what Alter Rebbe just told you over here, so what would happen to you? I mean, you were born into the world, and you could be excused for thinking, there's nothing else besides this world.
It's hard for us to imagine now.
It's hard to imagine not, exactly, because you were born here, you were placed in here, and then you're here for 70, 80 years, whatever, right? You saw you don't know what before is, I mean, before you came, whatever. After you leave, whatever, right? Who knows? I mean, yeah, this is the world. Okay. I mean, right? So you can actually see that you're just here for a short little nothing. And you're getting too excited over nothing. At the same time, right? You don't know anything better. So comes Alter Rebbe and you see what just happened? He like lowers down, almost like lowering down into this world from above. He lowers down and he says to you, okay, I'm going to give you some good news. There's a lot more to this world than it's. Don't get so fazed by this world. It isn't, I mean, it's just an afterthought, right? So you say, but what am I supposed to do about that? Well, the answer is, the answer is you have a piece of you that belongs to that outside world.
We always learn Hashem's watching, Hashem this, Hashem that. If this is nothing, then Hashem's not doing that. And what is it's a
Think about a guy.
Concept of
Think about a guy who gets a job in a company, right? He goes and gets a job in a multi-gazillion-dollar company, and he starts as a clerk. He looks like a regular clerk, but if you understand who he is, this guy is the son of the CEO and the founder. So even though he just got a job as a clerk, right? But he's not really a clerk. What is he really?
learning the business.
He's learning the business. He's really the owner of the company.
I mean, but your imagination could be my reality.
Your imagination could be my reality.
Reality. Okay, because you could imagine that you're a worker building a house, but I could actually be building the house. So the fact that it's a Kadosh Baruch Hu's so-called imagination, it could still be my reality.
Yeah, but the point is, what I'm trying to say, the point is that you have a piece of that infinite God inside you.
That's a secondary issue.
That's what he's trying to get at. That point is what he's making.
Yeah, but that's a secondary issue to my reality.
Okay, but he's not telling you that this world is not real, and what should I do about that information? And the world's not real, and you belong to that not real piece. You have a spark of the Creator inside you.
No, the world's not real, and we belong to the real.
Yeah. Now reveal that piece of you. Hashem is above the world. So on the one hand, it knocks you off your socks. Everything you do is meaningless. But on the other hand, it builds you. And this is why we call him Akadosh Baruch Hu. What does that mean? The Holy One, blessed be He. He's removed. Even though we say that you, Hashem, give life to everybody, you give life to everybody means everybody gets life from you. Not from you, from a ray of light of you. Hashem himself is removed completely on it. What did the world exist on? Hashem's Malchus. Amen. What does that mean? It means Hashem has a desire to be a king. Because of that point, the whole world, everything there exists. Because Hashem wants to be a king. Right? It's kind of like, I don't know. Hashverosh made a party, made a feast. So everyone who's sitting over there for 180 days, what are they sitting over there? Because there's one Nakuda, because King Hashverosh wants to prove his it's a 180-day party, and the whole thing is because the king wants to prove a point. So Hashem, in a positive sense, makes a party, makes a world. Why? Because he wants to be Melech. I mean, that's the whole thing. That's the functioning of the world.
What's the difference between saying that and saying that he wants to do it b'tachtonim?
Like I can't hear. What?
What's the difference between that and saying Kadosh Baruch Hu wants to be Melech and that he wants to have a dir b'tachtonim? What's the difference?
Same thing.
Okay.
Same Nakuda. Hashem wants to be Melech. The way he becomes a Melech, I mean, is through dir b'tachtonim.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I have to ask a question. Today's Tanya talks about this lowest realm of awareness of Hashem, this lowest world. There's like Tachlis Briyase, we always talk about. And here it sounds like so minimizing. It's like, how do you get that contrast? Like, what's the point? If we're saying one, how do we say the other? And how does it all work together?
What's the opposite?
The point is that when you are on the rock bottom, when you get to the bottom, you discover that the bottom, where there's nothing there, and you're as distant as you could ever get from Hashem, and you're in the world of absolute ugliness and darkness, that is the ultimate goal. And right there is where a mitzvah can be performed.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have that lowest level. That's today's time.
Well, what?
Otherwise, you wouldn't have that lowest level.
Yeah.
Has to be, that's the tachlis. That's today's time.
That's what he says there, yeah. Let me read the Mechanim as well, yeah. Zeu shekosav is what it means. Ishtabach shimcho lo'ad malkeinu. We exalt your name, the line begins Chaim. Your name is exalted forever, our King. Get this. Hashem being king is unlimited. Hashem's kingdom is infinite. Right? That they all praise Hashem and they say Hashem is the king of the world. Everyone in the world, right? All the angels, what do they get? They only get as far as Hashem is king. Melech Olam. That means that they sing that Hashem is king. But no one has anything to do with the actual essence of Hashem.
What do you mean, angels not in this world?
And angels in the upper world.
But isn't that, I feel like that's more than this, no? For saying this world, nothing in that world, everything. I don't understand.
He's saying that what he's saying is everyone in the world, every being on planet Earth, cannot relate to Hashem himself, can only relate to Hashem as he relates to the world. You don't get any kind of relationship with the divine himself, right? Only with the divine as he expresses himself, not with Hashem himself.
We're not able to.
Because you're not able to, exactly. You want to get a relationship with the divine? Hashem himself is removed and holy.
It's like a blind person colors.
Exactly.
Can I just ask you, after it says, can you say the lines after that?
Okay, we're going here.
What?
On here.
No, so after it says Yishabach Shemachol Ad Malkeinu, right? Could you just say the lines after that? Parents dispatchers. I don't understand those lines. It's like 6 lines up. Parents dispatchers. What are those lines? I don't understand what it's saying there.
Of Hashem's attribute of being a king.
Yeah.
And which is called his name.
Okay.
So when you speak about Hashem and his name, that's unlimited. Hashem is unlimited.
Okay.
There's no end and no limitation to what he is. When Hashem wants to be king, that's unlimited. Here's what it means, right?
What does that mean?
Is Hashem, I'll tell you, is Hashem unlimited? Hashem's unlimited. What do you mean? Why is he unlimited? Because he can create anything. It's crazy. Look at this world. Unbelievable. How does Hashem create all these beings in the world? So many creations. Look at it. It's like if you see Hashem's power in creation, right? He handles all the creatures under the ocean, and the volcanoes and the mountains and the trees and the whatever. And then if you go out in the galaxies, he's creating all of them too. And there's all this crazy, incredible world. If you will look at the vastness of creation, you will see that Hashem is absolutely and totally unlimited in creation, right?
Okay.
What's the problem? The problem is all that when you say he's unlimited, you're only saying he's unlimited in creation. In other words, he's infinitely smart, infinitely wise, infinitely kind, infinitely mighty. It's all midos, right? It's all things that you can tap onto. You can say he's brilliant. That means an infinite understanding. He's kind, super kind, infinite kindness. So I have kindness and he's infinite.
You can't understand something you don't understand.
Exactly. But Hashem is not limited to intellect nor emotions. He transcends them. So whatever you're saying about him being unlimited, you just limited him to being unlimited. That's what it means. It's Hashem's kingdom. It's Hashem as he lowered himself down into a world and allowed a world to be. And now you call him unlimited. But
so you say
you're
your
unlimited.
shevach is limited to the fact that he's our king. We can't say more than that.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
And if I say that Hashem is unlimited, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Right. Okay.
Because I have no way, because I said it.
Or say you can do anything. You give me money, take away money. It's all
Right.
physical.
To do anything. Well, can do anything. So do. So we're assuming that be infinite means you can do anything. But it's like saying, how old is Hashem? Now, as much as that's ridiculous, right? But you do have that question. Like, but how long was he around? Okay, but before that, because you don't have any way to relate to timeless. No, he created time. Okay, but how long ago was that? I can't say it, right?
Because everyone probably imagines them different as a type of being or a nothing.
Exactly, and doesn't occupy space. Okay, but he's up there, right? I don't have a way to relate to timeless and spaceless because I'm a tempo-spatial being. That means I live in olam shana nefesh, time, space, and the human soul. And Hashem is unlimited. No thought can grasp Hashem.
So let's finish those lines. That's why you say Mashvim B'Yir Yachad B'Kol. You say that's the Malach.
What do we say? They make known the words of the living God, and that He's King of the concealment of the world. Meaning, all they know how to grasp is Hashem as He comes down to the living God and King of the world.
We say they being the Malachim.
All the angels, I mean, they can only draw down that. So now you'll say, so what do you want from me? You're telling me that I can't access the higher level. Okay, so I can't. What should I do? I don't have, there's nothing I can do about it. Okay. Yes, there is. I want you to know that you can't access that. Aval. Atzmusa imahusa yisbarach, right? The essence of Hashem. Hashem Himself, Ani Hashem Loi Shonisi. Now, we need to understand why we are being told this.
We're being told this consistently throughout.
All the time. Exactly. And it's probably the most important, it's probably the most, it seems to be the most impractical information you can ever hear. Right? Because you're being told Hashem is above time, above space, we'll never be able to grasp Him, just so you know that He is that way, and you're in a little bubble and you don't understand Hashem. And that's the most practical piece of information you could ever get. And why is that? Because that's what keeps you alive and going, knowing that you're not subject to the confines of the world. This is what it means. The chayes, or the celestial angels, carry the throne of Hashem, and they are trembling from the awe of the throne. Mapshat. They get awed by Hashem's malchus. He's a king resting on the throne. That's how they accept the yoke of Hashem. So all they have is they start noticing Hashem as He is hidden and concealed. Sitting on the throne. What's a throne? A throne is a place where Hashem's up and He comes down. So when Hashem lowers Himself down, here's the part. If Hashem would not lower Himself down, you'd never be able to get afraid of Him. Because He's not revealed as is, that's why angels are able to get a fear of Him. Because Hashem limited Himself to becoming unlimited. If He wouldn't limit Himself to becoming unlimited, you wouldn't know that He's unlimited.
That extends down to us.
What?
And it's also, it's not just angels, it extends down to us.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
That is limited in itself already on the kiseh.
Kiseh is the limitation. What's a kiseh?
He's limiting himself to the malachim.
Yes, limiting himself to allow the malachim to relate to him.
This is already something I can't understand.
No, concealing himself. He's not so much limiting, it's concealing himself so that...
Concealing, correct.
Yeah.
It's not, concealing means framing himself in a way that a malach can relate to him. V'hinei, next paragraph. Now, this is the
No, yeah.
what's it called? The art of creation, the mechanism.
Yeah.
What Hashem did was, he says, I'm not revealing myself. I'm going to hide my true self. So now there's going to be a world. Within the world, I'm going to be unlimited and limited. Meaning, remember, Hashem lowering himself down to be the creator and to be the melech is itself infinite. Right? Is Hashem infinite? Yes. Here's the thing. If you can say Hashem is infinite, that means he's not infinite. Right? Okay. Because you said it. Because he's infinitely smart, infinitely wide, infinitely this, infinitely... Yeah. So is Hashem infinite? Hashem is infinite in a way that you can't even define it. Right? But he lowers himself down to become infinite. So we're going down to that level of Malchus.
If you say he's a melech, then he's not. Then he's infinite. Also not. If you say whatever you say he is, that means he's not infinite.
Correct. Correct. So when you say, but you are saying Hashem is infinite, right? He's the infinite king. So the Malchus is infinite. Just the fact that you said it means it's not. Right?
Right.
V'zeu pirush v'inyan, or ein sof anizkar b'sfarim. Now, we get into a deep Kabbalah over here. We talk about ein sof and or ein sof.
It's different.
Ein sof is unlimited. Or ein sof is not that the ein sof is an infinite light. It's that, imagine like the ein sof is the ma'or, the luminary, sun, and the sun and the rays. So you have the Ein Sof and you have the Or of the Ein Sof. The Ein Sof is Hashem as he is pre-limitation. The Or of the Ein Sof is the light which the Ein Sof, the unlimited, shines. So that is when Hashem hides himself, that's the light of the Ein Sof.
You still call him limited.
He's still unlimited. But the fact that you call him that is already a limitation.
But you call the Ein Sof also unlimited.
The Ein Sof is actually Ein Sof, and the Or Ein Sof is a limitation of him. It's just it's a Kabbalistic name for it. The Or who Gilivam Shachamat was the Mosa. When you say about what is light, light is a revelation from the essence. As we know, the sun is called the Ma'or, luminary. What is the Ziv, the ray of light, called the Or, the light? The light of the Ein Sof, of the unlimited, of the infinite, is what comes down to this world. You can't call the essence of Hashem a light. So the world can't handle the light, never mind the Ein Sof. Again, Hashem is unlimited, means he's not limited to the foundations which you're using. He's not intellectual, he's not emotional, he's not wise. He's not around for many years, even billions and trillions of years.
The problem is that sometimes we refer to Hashem as a certain
and whenever you're referring to Hashem as something,
even in the Chumash says it.
Correct.
Angry it is now.
Correct. So what does that mean? Those are the 10 sfirot. What Hashem did was he lowered himself down to Eser sfirot. That's called Olam HaAtzilut, right? So there's Ein Sof, which is Bli Gvul, is unlimited. The unlimited concealed himself so that you should be able to call him unlimited. Right? So the first level of unlimited is the undefined. There's no way to grasp Hashem at all. Now we're going to call that Ein Sof, unlimited. Ein Sof illuminates himself with a light. So the sun has rays. Those lights are also unlimited. Right? But you can define them as unlimited, and therefore that makes them not unlimited, even though they are. Make sense?
But they're still unlimited, really.
Yes, it's unlimited within the framework of, it's like, how long has Hashem been around? Oh, a long time. I don't know, unlimited amount of time. Right? When you say Hashem is past, present, and future, what does that mean? He's unlimited, right? But not really, because you said past, present, future. You just gave him a limitation of time. He isn't past, present, and future. Past, present, and future is a name of Hashem called Yud Kei Vav Kei. That's the Or Ein Sof. Hashem came down. The essence of Hashem is not unlimited. It's beyond unlimited.
Their name for Hashem when he's unlimited? Or all the names are?
No, nameless,
Nameless.
undefined. So the world cannot contain the light without disappearing out of their existence. The light encompasses above them. Okay, now we've learned the concept of Sev and Mamala is just expressed here very beautifully. So there's three levels. There's Hashem unlimited, no thought can grasp Hashem. Then there's Hashem, that's the Ein Sof. Then Hashem hides himself completely what he is, allows you to have a framework within which to call him infinite. That's the Or Ein Sof, right? The light of the Ein Sof, which means a residue of him, and then he's unlimited. We're going to call that Or Ein Sof Soivev Kol Almin, the force that encompasses all the world. Right? Then the Or Ein Sof, what does he do? He limits himself to become, to give something unique each individual creation. So, it's like a power station. If you plug, a power station gives power to the whole city. But if you plug any appliance into the power station, what's going to happen to the appliance? Right? The only way for appliance to work is if you don't show your power. You condense your power. So what they do is they take power and they bring it into small wires and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until finally it's able to get into my little house. And then a tiny little slither goes into it, and you've got to make sure if it's 220 volt, it'll destroy it.
That's a step-down transformer. That's what that's called.
Cool. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
It's what?
It's called a step-down transformer. It takes, let's say, 10,000 watts. Let's say each house needs 1,000. So 10,000 watts comes into the transformer on your block, and then it divides it into 1,000 watts for each house.
There you go. So a step-down transformer is called Memale Kol Almin.
Okay.
Right? So it goes like this. Is Hashem giving me life? I'm alive. Is Hashem giving me life? Absolutely. Let's trace back how Hashem gives me life. The step-down transformer gives me personally life. If he gave me too much life, I would disappear into smithereens, right? So he limits himself to give me life for what I need. That's called Memale Kol Almin, fills me. He gives you your type of life. This guy, every guy, the table's alive with its type of life. Every being has its type of life. That's the unique life you get, the step-down transformer. Go one step up, and what do you have? The powerhouse, right? The original power. So that's Hashem as he's infinite. Whoa.
So Kol Almin is the Or Ein Sof.
So is the Or Ein Sof. Yes, the light of the Ein Sof. But in case you think that is the ultimate of what Hashem is, no. Hashem is Bli Gvul. He's unlimited. He's beyond being beyond. Right?
Yeah.
And that's where you can't even grasp Hashem. You see where he's going. There's three things we learned. Shabbos. Then there's the building of the structure, which is the Soivev. And then there's the Mamala, which is the actual vessel.
So when you say that,
you're going to build all three back into you.
do you say that the Or is mislavish in the Keli? That would be Memale Kol Almin.
Yes. Now this is going to be, I hope it finishes mine, but the problem is I haven't got enough days. We'll do one column a day and we'll get 3 columns out of 9.
Okay, so we do a night shiur also. I'm ready. Okay.
So, yeah,
Okay.